Hello everybody, this is MJ again, back to talk to you about urine therapy. And one thing I want to ask you guys is, are you aware that you have already drank your own urine, whether you physically put a cup to your mouth or not? Stay tuned to find out how. You're wondering where I got the idea that you have drank your own urine. Well, basically is because when you were in the womb, the amniotic fluid inside the sac where you were growing in your mother's womb, that fluid is actually 75% urine. The whole while you are floating in it, it's going up your nose, you're drinking it, you're breathing it in, breathing it out. In fact, your lungs would not have formed correctly without that urine. It actually helped with putting us together and making us who we are. So you actually did take in this fluid in the amniotic sac where you were drinking your own urine. There was no argument there. It was just a natural thing. Today what we're going to talk about, because I have seen so many videos and I've been educating myself quite thoroughly on the subject, what I've come across is not a lot of people are talking about the kidney and liver function as far as how they operate to make the urine. Sometimes we are going to say no to something because we don't understand it. So maybe if we can understand the process a little bit more, then that's going to help us to understand that, hey, maybe it's okay after all. So in terms of digestion, that's not the only way that we excrete waste in our bodies. And what I noticed is that, like I said, when I did this research, there's not a lot of people talking about the process of it. So that's what I kind of wanted to do. I'm going to do a two-part series right now. This is part one on the process of how the urine is made. And then in part two, we're going to talk a little bit about the constituents of urine. First of all, I want to say that we do think that the primary way for the body to eliminate waste is through our bowels. When we need to remember that another form of our body's way of detoxification, if you will, is really our lungs. The lungs being probably the most prominent because they're very gaseous, and I listened to a Dr. Jeb on here. I really like listening to him. He's so knowledgeable, and he brought that to the forefront in one of the videos that I was watching, and I can leave a link to that video below so that you can hear him talk because he's just so full of knowledge. But our lungs are really our primary organ of detoxification, because we're constantly breathing in and out all day and all night long, and therefore all the gases that are the air that we breathe in, and then we're breathing out toxins, gases, and things like that. Followed by our skin. A lot of people don't think of the skin as an organ, but it really is. It's the largest organ of the body, and we have it for protection and keeping our bodies to be without infection and other things, and keeping everything in place inside. And so when you look at the skin as something to detoxify, we're talking about sweating and things like that, because we sweat at times or perspirate. When we perspire, we're releasing things out of our skin through the pores. So the next thing we have is our digestion, which is going to eliminate toxins from the body that way. So what I wanted to do is just give you a little run through of how that is done. And first of all, you need to know that urine is just pretty much a derivative of blood. Okay, when they draw your blood at the lab, you'll see they have these little tubes. Next time you're getting your blood drawn, take a look at the tubes. You'll see this like Vaseline-y looking stuff. And then once they draw the blood and it goes in there, they will take it to a machine and put the tube in the machine, and then it kind of goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And what it's doing is it's separating the blood from the plasma that's inside the blood. And the plasma is like, it's called serous fluid, and it'll wind up being at the top of the tube once it's done being spun down. And you see it looks sort of, well, it looks like urine, really. It's transparent, and it's kind of a yellowy tint to it, but like I said, it looks like urine. And that's pretty much, in a nutshell, sort of what our urine is like. It's like a derivative of blood. And then when I explain this to you, you're going to really see why. So our urine is formed by two major organs in our body. One being the heaviest organ that we have, the liver. The liver and the kidneys. The liver usually weighs between 1.5 and 3 kilograms, so it's our heaviest organ, and it's a very important organ. It's like the main filtration unit in our body. And basically what happens is, when we eat and drink, those nutrients go down our stomach into the duodenum, which are the bottom of our stomach has a pyloric sphincter, and that sphincter allows the food to go into the duodenum, which is like a C shape that opens into the small intestine, and it's going on its merry way. Well, basically, as it's in the intestine, our foods are broken down into smaller nutrients, and those smaller nutrients are then sent via the hepatic portal vein. They're taken to the liver, and then what the liver does is whatever we eat or drink that is not useful for our bodies, the liver then removes those constituents out of the blood and then excretes them as a solid waste, and that's going to go out and exit out the bowels. What is left then is blood that is then clean, and that will be taken to the kidneys. Okay, so the liver does not regulate the amount of nutrients that will go out into the body and do whatever it is they need to do. The kidneys are the organs that actually regulate what the body needs from the blood. So the kidney is made up of just a whole lot of things called nephrons all over in the kidney. And this is where the real urine is going to be made. Okay, each nephron in the kidney has sort of like, it's like kind of like a sac, and that sac is called a glomerulus. And basically what that does, that is where real filtration happens, right through that glomerulus. So then once the glomerulus does its job, and the nutrients are removed or taken out of the blood through filtering there, then the nutrients then travel down through something called the proximal convoluted tubule. And once they go through that, they're going to go through another little loop. It's called the loop of Henle. And once they reach that loop is where things that the body needs right now are reabsorbed into the body for use. And whatever is not needed at that very moment in time, that's really critical right there. Whatever is not needed at that very moment in time goes and travels down the distal convoluted tubule into a collecting duct, which then goes to our bladder. And that will be excreted when the time is right. So the kidneys aren't reabsorbing those nutrients at that time because they're just not needed right then and there. But these ingredients that the kidney chooses not to reabsorb at that time, and they send them out that tubule and down into the bladder, it doesn't send them there because they're toxic. They're not toxic, and they are not poisonous. So that is what is so important to remember. We are so hung up on the fact that the way like you're taught when you're younger is that the urine and the feces go together hand in hand and they're both waste. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It doesn't work like that. Waste is secreted out of the bowel, and the good nutrients go through and travel through. They're reabsorbed with this clean blood from the liver, reabsorbed into the body, whatever is needed through the loop of Henle in the kidneys, and then that which is not needed at that moment in time is excreted out of the kidneys in the bladder, and then of course we urinate, and there you have it. So I'm just going to give you a sneak peek when we talk about the constituents of urine. I want you to realize that, and you probably have heard this in some of the other videos or read it somewhere, or maybe you remember it from one of your classes that you took, but just keep in mind that urine is 95% water. Okay, that's quite a big portion, and then there's 5% left. In that 5%, you have 2.5% of that approximately is urea. And the other 2.5% are where you have other medically important things for the body, like growth hormones, insulin, urokinase, stem cells, antibodies, other hormones. There's just lots of good things in urine. We'll talk about that in the next video. But I just wanted to give you just a little idea of what is left when it's collected into the blood. These things are good things that are in our urine. So we'll talk about that in the next video. So I hope this video has enlightened you a little bit on how urine is made, and I ask you to give me a thumbs up if it's helped you in any way understand a little bit more about the process. Please subscribe to my channel because I have a lot of ideas. I'm going to be coming back and doing more videos for you guys. For those of you that already have subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing. I'm glad to see you. And I've been talking to some of you in the comments below, and it's really nice to have those conversations with you guys. You are so awesome, so awesome. So I really appreciate you. So that's it for today. Don't forget to check out the website. The website is urinetherapy.com, right there. So please check out the website and join the community. The community should be up by now. So it's free. It's going to be all about urine therapy, and anybody can join it. We can talk about it. We'll have videos. We'll have all kinds of stuff on there, learning tools and stuff, and some fun stuff too. So please come and join the website when you get a chance. Okay? And thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.